What is up? It is Andy coming back to you with a long overdue episode of the You're Still Here podcast. It's been way too long. I'll be the first to admit it. And I got to start this episode the same way I've started way too many episodes in the past year and a half. And that is with an apology, a stone cold standard apology. I apologize for not cranking out more episodes during the summer and getting way more episodes to you. Now, it's not for no reason. I'm not going to expect you to accept the reason, but at least the reasoning I come with, I come with tangible evidence. I come with the doctor's note in hand, and that doctor's note is right behind me if you happen to be watching this on YouTube. If you're listening to this, just know that you always have the option to watch this on YouTube, or I upload the video episodes to Spotify. But if you look behind me, that is the reason that the episodes have been delayed, because over the final month or so of the summer, and I don't even want to say that because technically this summer hasn't even ended, but we'll get to that in just a second. In the final month and a half of the summer, that's the only time I have to make studio upgrades, make things nicer in here. If you go back and watch episodes from a year ago, 2 years ago, you watch a steady progression and a steady uptick in quality and quote-unquote professionalism, despite the fact that this is still mostly a one-man show. But whether you listen to this podcast or you found this video and you're wondering what the hell, I came here to watch sports videos. If you're here for a sports video, just go to the next video or the last video. Guarantee you it's a sports video, because I have the #1 NHL sports betting show on YouTube, and I think that everything you see here should represent that. I shouldn't be some guy in my bedroom with an AirPod just talking to some MacBook Pro. We should have a nice rink behind me, and that was the project that I undertook over the last month and a half. So if you're watching, you can see behind me what appears to be a hockey rink, an NHL-themed hockey rink. And with the NHL starting in a couple of weeks, I think I have, the appropriate backdrop that displays the vibes that I want my show to have. Absurdity, sports, and some topics that you may have not have thought of that I'm going to bring to your attention today. The first being the fact that I mentioned that summer hasn't actually ended yet, but you would think that it ended. But it hasn't ended, no, because technically no one ever actually tells you. You just assume that Labor Day, that kind of ends the summer because people are going back to school, football starts. It's fall for all intent and purposes. However, there's a reason I'm wearing white today, other than the fact that we got the random summer day. I want to say during the fall, but it actually still is the summer. It was a mid-80s day. However, they would have you believe that I shouldn't be wearing this shirt because they, the ominous them, the others, would have you believe that you're not supposed to be wearing white after Labor Day. And I denounce this theory, and I denounce this claim, and I refuse to adhere by it. I know they just try to beat that into your brain. The same way Arizona just fully declines daylight savings time, that's my no white after Labor Day theory, because, okay, you're not supposed to wear white after Labor Day. They never mention when that resets. When are you? It's clearly not New Year. So that they're basically taking winter off the table. I really think they're trying to have you believe that you should only be wearing white from Memorial Day weekend to the fake end of summer, not even the real end of summer, Labor Day weekend. You can't wear white after Labor Day. And basically what they're telling you is that's a summer color. White is a summer color. You shouldn't be wearing it outside of that. Does this apply to people who live in El Paso, Texas? Does this apply to people who live in Boca Raton, where it's 88 in the middle of January? Or do they have a white exemption clause? That's not a term that sounds like it has to do with clothing. But is there a wearing white exemption clause when it comes to where you live? Because this isn't a calendar type of dress code. This should be a weather-induced type of dress code. So wherever you are out there, you wear white whenever the hell you want, as long as it's not cold. That's what but even when I think of people snowing and they have on like a bubble, it's white underneath there. You know what?
It's a scam. Another scam.
Man, it is right. It's right on the cusp of being the scam of the week. And that's wearing white after Labor Day not being allowed.
It's all bullshit. It's a big scam.
Not the scam of the week, but it definitely is a scam, and you shouldn't adhere to it because we're not even in the end. The summer ends in a few days, although, people won't want to have you believe that. So, like I said, spent almost till the end of summer upgrading the studio because summer's not over. And there's some things that I've had to get off my chest along the way because, I don't know if you're somebody who enjoys my sports videos and you don't know what the hell this is. If you watch my sports videos and you wonder, where does this guy get these ridiculous analogies? This guy's like none of these other sports. I'm not a sports guy. This existed way before that. And I mean, you can even find me on Days of Our Lives way before that. So sports came after this. Without this, you don't get what I say on that. So allow me to flex my creative muscles here and talk about some things that have been on my mind as I've been constructing this studio. Just think about that. I'm screwing things into the wall and just thinking about the dating scene, scams, horror movies, and everything in between. If you've watched this show before, you know about my love for horror movies. I believe there's a whole spectrum of them. And next month, you also know, if you've been watching this show, is the best month of the year. I don't want to hear it. You guys know it's my number one overall pick in the month draft. Every year, it's October. We're obviously going to have an uptick in horror movies. So I think this is the time where I'm going to draw a through line today between the world of dating and the world of horror movies. And I'm going to expand upon that concept more and more as this episode goes along. Because, just when you think with both dating and horror movies, oh, this is the bottom. Like, it does not get worse than this horror movie. Jeepers Creepers Reborn. No, that's the Mariana Trench of the horror movie world. Dating mulletpassions.com for mullet lovers to connect with one another. Yeah, we're not getting much lower than this. Right? Right, as Willy Wonka said,
Wrong, sir. Wrong.
Because the answer is yes, we can get lower than this. And not even just a little bit lower. We can get a lot lower, a lot lower, and a lot lower. Because the continual decay that you're seeing in horror movies, unfortunately, and cinema for the most part, it is also reflected in the dating. We are in the Jeepers Creepers Reborn of dating. And more specifically, because people don't really do the traditional dating route, the online dating world. I obviously did a whole online dating special that I think I did a pretty good job. It could have been better, but it is pretty funny. So it is available on my YouTube. Maybe I'll put it at the end of this video. And if you're listening, I don't know, maybe go watch it on YouTube. It is pretty funny. It's called I Know What You Did, the online dating special.
The Unsolved Mysteries Girl.
Hot 6.
These are the girls who will upload a full complement of pictures. All pictures you could ever ask for, yet you still have absolutely zero idea what they look like. How this is possible, I don't know. Steven Spielberg, he shot a movie with an iPhone 3, yet half these girls, they look like their pictures were pulled from a World War II scrapbook. Nothing's clear, they're grainy, dusty, you can't make out anything.
You may be able to help solve a mystery.
But anyway, this podcast, believe it or not, I can see the metrics. Sometimes I'm not very fond of them, but I know that this audience, it spans quite a large age gap. It covers a large age gap. It basically spans from DiCaprio's girlfriends, like right up to DiCaprio himself. You could be right out of college, or you can be happily married for 10 years. That's kind of where the audience is. So where you are on that scale kind of is going to dictate how much of what I'm about to say is foreign to you. Like, a married man who's been off the circuit for the last 10 years, you better hold on to your knickers because you're going to hear some things that are just going to like really blow your mind. Like, what do I mean? Like, what do you, how could, no, I went out, I met my girl, I met her at McFadden's, I know what the dating scene is. Yeah, okay. A few years ago, I had a friend who asked me to fix his computer. Maybe he's listening right now. My guess is he isn't. And when I asked him what was wrong with it, he told me, like, nothing opens. I use the computer, I click that app, and doesn't work. Click that app, doesn't work. Every program, every application, nothing worked. Double click it, zero. So I took his computer, and guess what? I was able to fix it. And do you want to know how? You want to know what the issue with his computer? I had to update the software. But it wasn't as simple as that. That's just one click. Oh, you're not on the most recent Mojave or whatever the hell the latest Mac thing is. Then you just update it. But no, I had to update his software to get to a point where I could update his software to get to the point where I could update the software to finally get to whatever the most recent version of the Mac is. That's what I had to do. This guy's computer was so many versions behind. He needed an update to get to the update to get to the update that allowed him to update, and then his computer worked fine. That is essentially what happens if you remove yourself from the dating pool for a specific amount of time. You are that many updates behind the current dating world. The rate, that rate of software updates is the rate at which this dating/online dating world worsens. You sit out a month, there's a whole new app. You take a year abroad, by the time you come home, that old app, that looks like The Road, the movie featuring Viggo Mortensen. You don't know what that is? I don't know, add it to your list, because it's not like there are many more to watch now these days. So you know about my Benjamin Button movie consumption theory, where you just watch movies backwards. So whatever, if you just heard this for the first time, we're in 2025. Let's just say movies have been garbage since let's just say whenever The Hangover was. Like, let's go to, 2009, 10. So watch all the best movies in 2010. That's your job for 2025. 2026, you watch all the best movies from 2009. 2027, you watch all the best movies from 2008. It's the Benjamin Button backward style of movie consumption. That way, you're able to watch good movies and not just the 75th Spider-Man that's about to come out in the next couple of months. So anyway, about when you leave those apps, you leave for a year, you come back, everything looks destroyed. It looks like The Road with Viggo Mortensen. And that road, the Viggo Mortensen road, would lead you directly to a place right now called the T app. Yeah, the T app. Oh, you didn't hear about that? Don't worry. That's why we're doing this podcast. It was recently #1 in the App Store. It was above ChatGPT. And now is, where you rightfully ask, if you don't know, what is this T app? And the T app is, quote, an app for women to share the details of men they might date. On the app, quote, users can anonymously post about the men they've encountered, including their photos, names, and experiences with them. They can post red flags or green flags to indicate their experiences with the guy. So in simple terms, it's Yelp for dating, where you can leave a review for the next girl who may or may not date this guy. So you went out with someone, they get to Yelp you. You have no clue about it, but that next person, if they have this app, they're going to put in your number and see what that last person had to say about you. And now here's where I just want to ask you a question. Everybody out there, like guy, girl, whatever else, have you ever gone out with someone and you were really into that person, only to find out they didn't match that level of excitement? And they weren't really into you. They did not share that same sentiment. I know it's not ideal. Not ideal at all. Now allow me to ask a follow-up question. How did that make you feel toward that person afterward? After you really liked that person, you were already planning out the second date. You were planning out the fifth date. You were planning out, oh, don't worry, I'm going to tell their parents this. They're going to think I make more money. You had months planned. You liked that girl or guy so much after the first date. So how did it make you feel toward that person afterward when you learn, oh yeah, I just never want to hang out with this person again? You probably got ghosted. Even though that person did nothing wrong, they were just not into you. Did you feel like you were going to then write that person a 5-star Yelp review if you had the opportunity? Of course not. You're going to do the one thing that you can do to salvage some semblance of dignity, and that is lie through your disgusting teeth to take that person down with you. Because as always, people will take a technology created with good intent and immediately turn it into a weapon of mass destruction. That online dating special, the I Know What You Did online dating special that you can watch on YouTube, I've talked about this before. We've seen this. We've seen the red receipt weaponizer, the person who take something like the red receipt, something that was created with good intention so that a mom could know that their kid who hadn't been responding saw their message. And what did they do with it?
So let's say Dan goes out with a girl, he had a good time, and then he goes to text her like, hey, had an awesome time over the weekend. You want to grab some dinner tonight? So she goes, oh, incoming text. She doesn't even know it's Dan. It's just guy number 4 I'm talking to. And she goes, ooh, I already have plans with guy number 2 for tonight. Oh, I know what I can do. I can just not open the text, even though I know what it says, and then strategically decide to answer after dinner. And then he will just see, oh, read at 11:45 and responded at 11:46. And this poor schmuck is standing there going, well, I think she still likes me. She responded right away.
So in this case, they turned an app that was designed to allow women to feel safer before going out with someone. Something that, yeah, you would want that. You want somebody to know they're not going out with Dahmer. You want to weed out those Dahmers. What did they turn that to? They turned an app that was designed to allow women to feel safe into a boiling cauldron of scorned hags, because that's essentially what the T app became. Yelp for scorned hags. Like, the motto of this T app was originally, women should never have to compromise their safety while dating. But I checked it recently and it has since been changed to, if I'm going down, you're absolutely coming with me. Because that obviously is the result of this. You think people are out there writing these glowing reviews about the guy who doesn't want to go? So they posted pictures that don't look like them. The guy was not into this catfish. And what does the catfish do? Just reams this guy out, 1-star reviews. It's kind of like when you go to a restaurant, why I hate Yelp reviews in general. A restaurant will have incredible food, but because some employee, some college girl at the front desk gave somebody half an attitude, they give the place 1 star. Like I give 2 shits about the character of the person checking me in. No, I want to know how good the food is. So you have reputation ruiners based on their individual experience that has nothing to do with the actual food, and in this case, the person they're going out with. So what is this all meant, by the way? Well, what has this meant to this T app? It means that now you have guys on TikTok uploading full hostage videos where they have to display a screenshot of their tea critiques in the corner as they explain what the hell happened and try to refute what was said and be at the full mercy of the King's Landing mob, because that's who you are. You show what they wrote about you and try to explain yourself. It's the full King's Landing mob, as it typically is on all social media platforms. But as is the case with most nefarious individuals, not all, but most, I mean, I'm still ticking here after all, but eventually their day of reckoning comes in one form or another, because all of these tea dishers, all of these scorned hags, they had their data leaked, and not just their email addresses, everything, including their names, their actual identification. Yeah, their actual identification pictures. A T spokesperson confirmed the hack, saying they had detected, quote, unauthorized access to our systems and about 72,000 images that had been exposed, including 13,000 selfies and photo identifications submitted for account verification purposes, as well as 59,000 images from posts, comments, and direct messages, aka everything. Well, I know one thing for certain. None of them are fans of this show, because had they watched this podcast just once, twice, pick a random episode, they obviously would have signed up with fake information, decoy Google voice numbers, disappearing emails, Greenwich Village fake IDs for verification, anything. But no, since they are not fans of the show, unfortunately, now the hags have been compromised and exposed for who they are. And in order, by the way. From biggest hag right on down. What do I mean by that? Apparently, some people, some hackers, you're going to assume it's guys, some guys out there, they took all of this leaked data with the pictures and all and made a website called T-Spill that literally ranks the biggest hag down to the first. So worst to first. Who just went on there, never wrote anything kind, and was just shitting on everyone. That's like number one on the Family Feud hag charts. And then it goes all the way down to, I guess, the kindest. So I don't know if you want to check it out. I wouldn't do it, but I know via the article that there's something called T-Spill where you can see this. But be careful about something like that. You start looking at hags like that, that's like watching the tape from the ring. You might not be the same. Your phone might ring a couple minutes later and like, 1 week. I don't think you want to be dealing with that. So that's me integrating horror movies. Maybe subconsciously that's still in the back of my mind because I still have to talk about that before I finish talking about dating, because I'm not done. I'll tell you what some girls are resorting to, and it just so happens to be our scam of the week.
It's a scam.
That's a scam.
What a scam that was.
This was all a scam, huh?
The hedge fund salad scam. Yeah, I know, right? That sounds kind of wild. The hedge fund salad scam, where apparently girls are going towards the financial district in, New York, whatever other cities, and they are intentionally taking the salads of guys who likely ordered them who worked in like the adjacent hedge funds. So they take it intentionally so that they then have to return it. And then there's this weird like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to take your salad. What's your name? I'm so-and-so. So they're stealing hedge fund employees' lunches just so that they can then return it to them in person and then give themselves a chance to have the guy, I don't know, maybe ask them out or something like that. It's the hedge fund salad scam where they steal your lunch to then have an in for you. I mean, this doesn't sound that bad if you're a guy. For me, go ahead, steal my salad. I probably dreaded ordering a salad. No guy voluntarily wants to order that salad at lunch. So if you stole it from him, he's going to be disappointed when you return it. However, if you do want to get yourself in front of a guy, it's going to be better than the T app or whatever other apps that they're inventing by the week. So it's the hedge fund salad scam, allowing girls to weasel in there with some higher income male individuals. You can get mad at them. Hey, they came up with a scam and they tried it out there in the field. I would love to know the success rate in that.
I appreciate a good scam.
So I'm not sure stealing people's food is likely the best answer. One would argue we should get back to what we know works, something that's worked for generations. Meeting through mutual friends. We should meet people through our mutual friends. And how are we going to do that? Actually go out there and meet through those mutual friends in some sort of group setting? No, absolutely not. Of course not. We're instead going to create an app called Cerca, which will allow you to virtually meet through those same mutual friends, the ones who are unwilling to go out for one single night, so you can meet in an actual group setting. So that's what they're doing now. You can virtually meet through an app through these theoretical mutual friends who wouldn't even set you up in a real life environment. But to be fair, there are some meetings taking place out there, like friends trying to help their single friends meet some other people. Bars are now having nights where you go out there and you pitch your friends to a live crowd of prospective love interests. You're out there pitching your friend who's just sitting right there to a crowd of people who might be interested in them. And how exactly do you do that? Well, you guessed it, with a PowerPoint-style presentation put together by your friend, which actually illustrates why you are such a catch. All those bullet points, number one, you should go out with him because of this. You should go out with him because of this.
He's big into fitness. I don't know if you could tell right now.
And that's what your friend has to do for you.
He's got a nice pension coming his way, but
you are such a catch that you require the assistance of a used car salesman approach to close a deal.
Yo, Chris, play this video.
And my first thought on this is, this would never work for me. It would never work for me. I couldn't even get my friends to come to a Giants game. Free tickets, field level, they'd be like, no, I can't do that. They would not even go for that. The parking, then we got to leave the stadium. They're not taking free field tickets to a Giants game. You think they're taking the time to fire up Microsoft Office to explain my best qualities? I mean, I still think they hate me. You think they're doing that? I already told you. I mean, their computers are running on like the original OS X. Nothing's working. Secondly, my friends would never say a kind word about me, not until I'm dead. It would be a full Comedy Central roast. And third, most importantly, my friends are donkeys. If a regular girl was ever exposed to my friend's grammar and vernacular, I would be immediately eliminated by association. Like, there's not a chance in hell. That is his friend. I don't care what he looks like. I'm not going. If he sounds anything like that, I'm out. The whole Shark Tank board would immediately be out as soon as my friends got to the second bullet point. So, wouldn't work out so well for me, but there are people apparently out there doing this. And, you know, I think I just discovered a fantastic fantasy football punishment. Tell me this is not the best fun. Watch some of these videos. I mean, the fantasy season is here now. We're in the midst of fantasy football. Whoever finishes last, you get to pitch him to the live audience. Even if he's married, whatever, it's just a prank. And you get to say whatever the hell you want. And he doesn't know what... It's kind of like Impractical Jokers. He doesn't know what you're going to say. He's literally just hearing it live for the first time. And he's just got to sit up there and eat it as you lie about him left and right. But in all honesty, that's what online dating is all about. It's just about lying through your teeth. It's really the false advertising of dating that presents you in the most desirable, consumable version of yourself. But we're not just seeing these lies on the dating circuit. No. We're seeing it in my world as well. We're seeing it in a place I never want to see it, my beloved world of horror movies. The same way you'd see some girl gassing up one of her friends in one of those live lying experiences with the PowerPoints. Well, LIE-MDB, as I like to call it, and Rotten Tomato bastards, as I like to call it, are doing the same exact thing with not just horror movies, but I feel like almost all movies. Rotten Tomatoes, it's straight up the Hinge of movies. You're just getting all the big lies. Oh, I'm fun, magical experience. I'm going to leave you wanting more. All to show up there just to get that dog shit of a movie called 28 Years Later, which was so bad, it's like already on Netflix. It's already on. You think good movies are available on Netflix a few months later? And yet somehow this movie was rated high, with over 95% on Rotten Tomatoes. The level of disappointment I endured, because I really enjoyed 28 Days Later. And I even enjoyed 28 Weeks Later, which was not the case with everybody. That is not a sentiment shared with everyone. But I was even good with that movie. Jeremy Renner was in it. It was somewhat in line with the first one, mostly in line with the first one. 28 Years Later is one of those movies, it should not, like, they should remove it if they all, I mean, no one's buying DVDs, but if they sold the DVD collection, that one should be out of there. That should not be included with those first two movies. It was the Cooper Manning of the 28 series. It was Halloween 3, Season of the Witch, has nothing to do with Michael Myers. You're not the real Halloween. Nothing like the first two movies. And did they explain it? Did they explain it? We're like, wait. There had to be some sort of explanation, right? Like, how did we get from bloodthirsty, sprinting zombies to these horse-cocked, roided-out regular guys who didn't turn into zombies? I swear to you, Jeepers Creepers 2 was honestly light years better than this shit. And I guess if you're doing that Benjamin Button style of movie consumption, you'll eventually get to Jeepers Creepers 2 in a good 10 or so years. Actually, even more than that. But if you simply trusted those Rotten Tomatoes, Rotten Tomato bastards, oh no, it's a fantastic 96%. It was full dog shit. I promise you, you don't even have, well, it's going to be on net. Watch it. Watch it, and you tell me if that's deserving of 96% on Rotten Tomatoes. And don't you say, well, I'm not a horror movie person, so I don't know if it's good. No. Because there is a good horror movie. Hey, look, this episode's going to have a lot of complaining. But I'm going to end you with some positives. I'm going to end you with something good. Tell you that dating can happen and good horror movies can still happen. It's not over forever. How do you like that? For some positivity. But before you get to more positive, you're going to have to endure a little more negative. Because then, being the piece of shit that I am, I had to look into this further. Like, I don't understand. Am I living in a fake universe? People cannot be believing this. So I went into the Reddit bunkers. I went to Google, where any old Joe, you don't have to, it's not the politics involved with Rotten Tomatoes. Any old Joe can write those reviews. And magically, the 96% movie was down to 2.3 stars out of 5. And people were writing multiple paragraphs about the same horse-cocked random guys who were in zombies and had the same absurd thoughts that I was having of how this was a joke of a movie, and the fact that there's another sequel is even more of a travesty. It's almost like they knew they had to gas up this first one so much just to ensure this mirage could get them a second date. But no, not getting it from me, and they certainly should not get it from you as well. And if you think that's the only one, no, this isn't just like, oh, he just saw a bad movie. How about a movie that came out not too long ago? I think it's just available for rent now, called Together with Dave Franco. 94% on Rotten Tomatoes. Twitter accounts were saying it's the scariest movie in decades. You see something like that, it's like, oh my God. And the movie comes out. And who is it? It's the fat chick who duped you on Hinge, the 2.3 on Google, screwed again by Rotten Tomatoes. And then what are they going to do? The movie is going to talk about you on the T app and say how you were awful. So it was just another case of that. I mean, really, the only element missing from LIE-MDB and Rotten Tomato Bastards are their versions of the ridiculous TikTok restaurant review videos. Have you ever seen any of those? But just instead of restaurant reviews or food reviews, they're movie reviews. Have you ever seen any restaurant review or review of some food on TikTok? You'd know if you've seen it, because these people, I don't know why do they speak with such a donkey cadence?
I finally tried La Pecora Bianca, and oh my God, guys, this is definitely worth the hype.
Is this how people are taught to read in school now?
Did we just find one of the city's best brunches hidden in the suburbs of DFW?
Okay, guys, I went to Bahama Mama's on the Upper East Side, and oh my God, my mind was blown.
The flavors go crazy.
First, we got the Maxi Melts, and oh my God, the cheese was to die for. Anyone who thinks that they could be a good actor, please just watch one of those videos. It's going to be a quick tutorial of how you will never be a performer, because you can't even read. You can't even talk about the food you're eating, let alone actually having to perform something else. But even better, if you don't believe me, I've always told people, they think acting's easy. They think because they live their life, they can somehow simulate living a life. And if you think that's the case, listen to somebody buy a vowel on Wheel of Fortune.
Well, that's $1,300 to your total. What's next?
I'd like to buy a vowel. E.
I'd like to buy an
T.
N.
R. V. C. R.
And could you speak up, Paula? 2 R's, yes.
Why are you speaking like that? Here's how you should buy an A. Thanks, Pat. I'd like to buy an A. Not
R.
Listen to the crowd of zombies on the Family Feud.
Every time I see somebody say, okay, boomer, on like Twitter or something, you know what I hear in my head? I hear that idiotic studio audience from the Family Feud. You know what I'm talking about? Like when they reveal the answers that neither team got. Like number 3, ding! Time machine! Who the f*** thought these people had to read? They sound like Resident Evil zombies. Number 4, ding! Number 5, ding!
Water cooler. It's Resident Evil zombies in the audience. They just go, ding! Water cooler. So basically, I'm trying to tell you, you're all awful actors. And guess what? Don't feel bad about it, because I'm only marginally better than you, which is why I'm talking to you right here and right now, opposed to opposite Tom Cruise in the next Top Gun. So going back to movies, I will say that once every few years, You get the opposite. You get a movie with a title that it looks like absolute garbage, and it ends up being all right. And I got one for you. Now, I got a real good one for you, but I want to tease you first. I give you an okay one that you're like, there's not a chance in hell, because I thought it was going to be awful. It's called Dangerous Animals. And it reminded me of a simple horror movie truth. If you have a good villain, you have a captivating villain, one who disgusts you, but can also make you laugh, then they single-handedly could carry a horror movie. And you want evidence of that? There's so much evidence of that. You have Wolf Creek. You can add that. You want more evidence of that? Heretic with Hugh Grant. He literally makes that movie. And you want even more evidence of that? This most recent Dangerous Animals. The main antagonist gets a big thumbs up from me. But if none of those tickle your fancy, because your mind can't wrap your head around the concept of a demonic entity called the poltergeist, then why don't we just look a little closer to home? In a world where horror movies are unlikely to scare you just because they don't seem real enough, sometimes all you have to do is, unlock that tiny device sitting in your pocket, because that thing will leave you feeling like you just watched the tape from The Ring every single time you open it. Your phone, as you guys are well aware, will show you way more horror than Blumhouse ever could. And any app I open recently, by the way, regardless of which app it is, I'm just getting the worst news ever. Like, I'll open up the Compass just to feel safe, and it points me to the health app, which shows I haven't slept well in about 8 weeks. God forbid I open up social media, I'm seeing it's not just bad news I'm getting anymore. Like, bad news I can take. Bad news I can take by the boatloads. Oh, global warming, we're all getting fried? No problem. I can eat that news left and right. Oh, there's a new tariff on my Chobani yogurt? Good, there it is. You want the $5? There's your Chobani. But the bad news social media is delivering me, it's like a Final Destination style premonition type of warning. Do you sleep exactly like this? It's showing a guy who looks like me in my exact sleeping position. That position is the worst thing you can do for yourself on many levels. Are you drinking this bottled water? This has the highest confirmed percentage of chemicals found in any bottled water. It's the bottled water I drink every single day. If you've had 3 sips of this bottle, your testicles are 13% microplastics, and your children will be born with 4 ears. That's what I'm seeing out there. But what else would we expect with social media? We all know that's how the algorithm works. Video of a guy feeding a starving village in Africa, 0 clicks. Video of a village in Africa feeding on a random guy, thousands of clicks. A regular girl from Michigan watching the video of a village feeding on a guy, but doing it from an angle where you could see her perfectly crafted ass, 600 million clicks. It's just the default setting of the human mind, Good things, awful things, ass. Anyway, as I was saying, you don't have to watch The Bride of Chucky or read Goosebumps to get your fix of Night of the Living Dummy. No. Not when you have an actual version of that story taking place in the real world. Because I'm sure you've heard of the movie called Annabelle, right? The doll from the movie that's possessed by a demonic presence. Well, that movie is actually based on a true story, and there is an actual doll that has been sitting behind glass in a museum not open to the public in Connecticut. So the doll that whole movie is based on is sitting in Connecticut behind glass in some sort of museum that isn't even open to the public. So what did they decide to do? They decided to take this thing on the road, just like the Jonas Brothers going on a tour. And what happened? The guy transporting it from the original place to the next place died in his sleep of quote unquote natural causes. Yep, this 54-year-old died of natural causes. So first, we had the Final Destination movie theater that collapsed on a woman watching the latest Final Destination. And by the way, I watched that Final Destination movie, the most recent one, the one where man, if that lady went out to watching that movie, at least go out to watching the first Final Destination, which is pretty good. At worst, the second, but this one, it was awful. But anyway, now we have the actual Annabelle doll killing its handler in his sleep. And why would you choose that job, by the way? Why would you choose the Annabelle handler job? Are things really that bad that you had to go to Indeed and submit for the haunted doll handler? And don't you think that it's a little suspicious that the same job listing keeps popping up once a year? You think that guy lies when he's on one of these Hinge dates, by the way? What do you do? Oh, I work for a novelty museum. I'm involved with the preservation and maintenance of certain artifacts. I mean, I'm basically a modern day archivist, which my college roommate used to always think was the funniest word. So I kind of couldn't pass up a chance to say it. Archivist. Archivist or archivist? Sounds like a Swedish hockey player. Who's starting today? Lundqvist? No, he's backing up. Archivist getting the start. But anyway, let's end with some good news.
Okay.
Because I found a great horror movie for you. One that actually is going to live up to the hype. And not only that, I even found a great woman. With all those follies out there, you can find one. I mean, I don't think you're going to. I don't know if they're going to be around the T app or the Mutual Friends app or the PowerPoint presentation live sessions. And I don't know if you're going to find any, but I did find you a good movie that I want you guys to watch if you enjoy. I mean, come on, we got October coming up. It's called Weapons, and I'll set it up for you. I'm not going to spoil anything. Basically, there's an elementary school teacher. She comes into class one day. There's one student sitting there, and every other student that was in her class the previous day has disappeared in the middle of the night. That's the premise, and it lived up to expectation. I enjoyed it. I'm nearly certain you will as well, even if you're not a horror movie person, because there's a contingent of those. Like, you need to be a horror movie person probably to enjoy Dangerous Animals. I think all of you will enjoy Weapons, and hopefully all of you enjoyed this episode of the podcast. So this is where we're going to end this one. I will be back with you for yet another episode because I already have another series of things to talk about. But I think we'll end this one for now. Do me a favor, do me those things that help me out. If you're listening to this on, Amazon Podcasts or Google Podcasts, just look down. If there's a thumbs up or some sort of way to send the signal that you enjoyed this, please do that. I'm sure it will help in some way. If you're watching this on YouTube, you know the deal. All sorts of engagement helps, even if you want to say, I hate that you make these videos. One more video that isn't sports betting is a video I don't want to see. You're spamming whatever it is, it actually helps. Hopefully you did enjoy it though. But what I would really appreciate is your engagement with this stuff. Like I said, the video episodes are also available on Spotify, so you can check that out there. Till next time, I don't know, enjoy the nice weather because this is about as good as it gets. It's still summer. See you in the fall.